Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the star of our show, Teri.
Hey friends, I'm Teri, and I want to welcome you back to The Music and Me, the podcast where we celebrate the songs that make you dance like nobody's watching and sing like your showerhead just gave you a standing ovation. Now listen, this episode is extra sparkly, extra funky, and extra inspired. Why? Because it was born out of my favorite workout video right now. Yep, I've been dancing around my bedroom to these tunes like I'm auditioning for a retro aerobics reboot. And let me tell you, Earth, Wind, and Fire makes working out feel like a soul celebration. If disco dumbbells aren't a thing yet, they should be. So today, we're diving headfirst into the glittering, genre-blending, platform shoe stomping world of Earth, Wind, and Fire. A band so legendary, they skipped water entirely. Because really, who needs hydration when your music is this hot, right? These guys didn't just play music, they summoned celestial funk from the heavens and wrapped it in sequence. From September to Boogie Wonderland to Shining Star. They're responsible for every time you swore you weren't going to dance at a wedding, and then 12 seconds later, you're the star of your own invisible Soul Train line. And a quick heads up, I won't be doing my usual interesting fact segment today because I have a special fun fact segment included in this episode, so you're not going to miss it. All right, everybody, grab your bell bottoms, adjust your afro pick, and get ready to moonwalk through a musical galaxy of horn sections, falsetto magic, and astrological inspiration. Let's groove, everyone. Okay, let's rewind back to 1969, a time when everyone was grooving in fringe jackets, nobody had a cell phone, and Maurice White looked at the music scene and said, "You know what's missing? A band that sounds just like a dance party in heaven with horns." Maurice White wasn't just your average drummer. No, he was a musical mastermind, a former session player at Chess Records, and a man who apparently woke up one day and thought, what if we made a band that fused jazz, funk, soul, gospel, disco, and just a sprinkle of stardust? And the world said, yes, please, we are ready. Now let's talk about the name, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It sounds like an epic superhero team, right? Like Captain Planet's cooler cousins? But no, it wasn't marketing magic, it was astrology. Maurice, a proud Sagittarius, the adventurous philosophical fire sign, he checked his chart and saw strong earth and air influences. So he skipped water entirely. Because hydration is optional when you're that funky. And boom, Earth, Wind, and Fire was born. No capes, just sequence. The early lineup of the band? Think of musical speed dating. People were coming and going faster than your uncle on karaoke night. But eventually, Maurice locked in a lineup that had the vibe. And by vibe, I mean the jaw-dropping, stadium-shaking, holy falsetto they're good kind of vibe. Their sound? Oh, it was just a casual blend of funk, soul, R&B, pop, jazz, disco, and gospel. Every genre ever, mixed like a cosmic smoothie. You'd be vibing to a funky bass line 1 minute and then suddenly feel like you were in church, getting your soul cleansed by a horn section sent straight from heaven. While other bands were busy trying to fit into a single genre, Earth, Wind, and Fire said, genres? We don't know what those are. They made music that made you dance, cry, and possibly ascend into another dimension, all in the same song. So yes, they were funky. Yes, they were spiritual. And yes, they dressed like golden space pharaohs. And somehow they made it work. So now that the band is assembled, astrology approved, horn section locked in, outfits bedazzled to perfection, you might be asking, what exactly does Earth, Wind, and Fire sound like? Well, imagine if funk and soul had a baby, and then that baby was raised on jazz records, disco balls, church choirs, outer space, and good vibes. That's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let's break it down, shall we? If Earth, Wind, and Fire were a dish, Their sound would be 7 layers of flavor: funky, soulful, jazzy, joyful, a little bit sparkly, and way too good to be just a side. Their music had horns so powerful they could blow your socks off, literally, if you weren't careful. At the center of all of it was Maurice White's vision: music that didn't just sound good, it felt like a spiritual experience. And not the quiet kind of spiritual either. No, this was get up and dance in the middle of your living room, even if you're holding laundry spiritual. Then there was Philip Bailey, a man with a falsetto so high, dogs probably jammed to it. His voice could hit notes that I'm not sure is legal in some states. And when he and Maurice sang together, goosebumps every single time. They didn't just play music, they created an atmosphere, a whole vibe. Their live shows were basically a cross between a concert, a Broadway production, and a NASA light show. There were costumes, pyrotechnics, dancers, and probably a few people floating from pure groove. And let's not forget the kalimba, Maurice's favorite little thumb piano that became one of their signature sounds. Most bands were like, let's use a guitar solo. Earth, Wind, and Fire said, hold my incense, we're bringing the kalimba in. Their style was loud, proud, and full of heart. Sequins? Check. Capes? Absolutely. Matching outfits that looked like they were stitched together by funk gods themselves? Of course. Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't just create music, they created moments. They gave us the soundtrack to celebrations, weddings, roller skating rinks, and epic dance battles in your cousin's basement. Okay, now that we've got the band together, the sound, the sequins, and the falsettos that can shatter glass, let's talk about the part that you definitely know. The songs that make you drop everything. I'm talking laundry, phone, and your dignity, and just dance. Because let's be honest, Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't just make music, they made anthems. Songs that were scientifically proven to turn any gathering into a full-blown soul train. And don't fact-check that, just go with it. Let's jump into the hits that made the world groove. Let's be honest, when Earth, Wind, and Fire drops a beat, your body doesn't ask for permission, it just moves. Whether you're at a wedding, in your kitchen with a spatula mic, or 3 hours deep into a cleaning session, you hear that horn section and suddenly you're a backup dancer in your own personal disco special. So let's break down some of the biggest hits from this band that basically soundtracked the 70s, 80s, and if we're being real, every decade since. Let's start with my favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song, September, released in 1978. I love this song because it's called September, and September's my favorite month because that is the month of my birthday. This song is legendary. It opens with those iconic horns and that infectious body-ah, and suddenly it's instant joy. Your mood lifts, your foot taps, and your soul goes, oh, it's on. But what's wild is that when Maurice White first brought this song to the table, he made up the words body-ah as placeholders. Lyricist Allie Willis actually pushed back, saying, we can't leave it as body-ah. And Maurice was like, actually, yes, we can. And thank the groove gods he did, because body-ah is now a universal language for let's dance. Also, let's not forget that famous question. Do you remember the 21st night of September? To this day, no one really knows what happened on that night. But we all agree it was funky, fabulous, and probably involved some very enthusiastic dancing. Next up, Boogie Wonderland from 1979. Yes, the disco anthem to end all disco anthems. This one's got glitter in its DNA. Collaborating with the powerhouse vocal group The Emotions, Earth, Wind, and Fire created a track that's basically a one-way ticket to the dance floor. But here's the twist. It sounds like a party, but the lyrics are kind of sad. It's actually about someone dancing their heartbreak away and escaping their loneliness through the magic of boogie, which honestly is very relatable. Like, Are you okay? No, but I'm in Boogie Wonderland and I've got glitter in my hair, so I'll survive. Next up, we have Shining Star from 1975. This one, it's like your funky pep talk. The lyrics say, "You're a shining star no matter who you are." I mean, that is beautiful, right? This track became their first number one hit on the pop charts, and it put Earth, Wind, and Fire on the mainstream map in a big, sparkling way. Maurice White wrote this after a night in nature, looking up at the stars and feeling inspired. And somehow, he turned that moment into a groove that makes you feel like you could accomplish anything. Next, we have Reasons from 1975. This one is for the drama queens and kings. You know who you are. It starts all sweet and romantic, but plot twist, it's about a one-night stand that feels like love, but isn't. Yikes. But don't let that stop you from belting it out like you're auditioning for the soul opera of your life. Philip Bailey's falsetto here is nothing short of supernatural. It floats, it soars, it does cartwheels in the sky. You don't sing along with Reasons, you emotionally collapse along with it. Pro tip, do not attempt this note in public unless you're prepared to be stared at or offered water. Next, we have Let's Groove from 1981. Now this is Earth, Wind, and Fire in full laser-powered 80s mode. Synths, robot voice effects, and a beat so funky it makes you want to put on a neon headband and slide across your living room floor like a disco ninja. The lyrics say, "Let this groove get you to move. It's all right, all right, all right." All right. It was a huge comeback hit in the early 80s, showing the band's ability to evolve with the times. And fun fact, it helped introduce a new generation to their music. Grandparents, parents, and kids all dancing in the same room. That's Earth, Wind, and Fire magic. And now for a few honorable mentions. We can't forget Fantasy, soaring vocals and ethereal vibes. After the Love Has Gone, for when you want to cry in harmony. Or Sing a Song, which literally tells you to stop being sad and sing, which is therapy in a tune. No matter which song you start with, Earth, Wind, and Fire has a way of making you feel something. Joy, nostalgia, and maybe a sudden desire to buy gold lame pants. Their music is timeless, and each track is like a little disco miracle wrapped in sunshine and trumpet solos. All right, everybody. We've danced, we've cried, and we've probably pulled a hamstring trying to hit that Reasons falsetto. But now it's time to step back and ask, how did Earth, Wind, and Fire go from a funky band with a thumb piano to a global musical force that still makes people lose their minds at weddings? Because let's face it, these guys didn't just leave a mark on music, they spray painted their name in glitter across the entire pop culture universe. So let's talk legacy. First of all, Earth, Wind, and Fire is not just a band. It's a cultural institution, like pizza or hugging your grandma. They're that comforting, that reliable, and yes, that essential. They've sold over 90 million albums worldwide, won multiple Grammy Awards, and were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000. AKA, you did it. You are officially music royalty. Please accept this crown made of funk. But here's the thing. Their music didn't just top the charts. It crossed generations, genres, and even continents. Your grandma loves them. Your dad loves them. Your toddler nephew with the light-up sneakers bops to Let's Groove like he was born in 1981. That is power. They've influenced everyone from Beyoncé to Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake to Usher. Basically, if you've ever danced to a song with horns, glitter, or a falsetto, you owe a little thank you to Earth, Wind, and Fire. And let's not forget their visual style. These were the original kings of the look. Capes, sequins, space-age armor, and outfits that looked like they were custom-made by cosmic tailors. Their concerts weren't just shows, they were events. Think lasers, pyramids, smoke machines, and the spiritual energy of 1,000 disco balls. But more than all that glitz, Earth, Wind, and Fire carried a message. Their music was about hope, joy, unity, and spirituality. Maurice White always wanted the music to uplift people, to heal, and honestly, mission accomplished, I'd say. Listening to their songs feels like getting a musical hug from the universe. Oh, and fun fact, their music was even included on the Voyager Golden Record, the time capsule sent into space by NASA, meaning if aliens ever find that record, their first impression of Earth could be, ooh, this planet has a funky groove. Let's party with them. Honestly, not a bad way to represent humanity. Okay, so we've grooved, we've gushed, we've traveled through time and space, but now it's time for my personal favorite part of the show, the Did You Know segment. Because Earth, Wind, and Fire isn't just cool, they're full of surprises. And these next little nuggets will have you saying, wait, what? So let's dig into some fabulous fun facts you can drop at your next party or your next awkward elevator ride. Either works. Fun fact number 1. Maurice White played on records before EWF even existed. Before forming Earth, Wind, and Fire, Maurice White was a session drummer at Chess Records, one of the most iconic labels of all time. He played behind legends like Etta James, Muddy Waters, and Chuck Berry. Basically, he was a musical ninja before he became the funky Jedi we know and love. Fun fact number 2, the kalimba is not just a cute instrument, it's their signature sound. That little African thumb piano you hear in so many EWF songs, that's the kalimba. Maurice discovered it and said, this belongs in funk. And somehow, he was 100% right. It became a sonic calling card that set their music apart and gave it this ethereal, earthy sound. Kalimba 1, doubters 0. Fun fact number 3. They were the first Black performers to sell out Madison Square Garden. Yes, you heard that right. Back in the day, Earth, Wind, and Fire made history when they sold out MSG, putting on a live show so epic it probably raised the roof a few inches. People weren't just dancing, they were levitating. Fun fact number 4, their music was sent into outer space, as I previously mentioned. NASA literally chose their music to go on the Voyager Golden Record, a time capsule launched into deep space to represent the best of humanity. So when aliens show up asking about the Body-Ya, we'll know who's responsible. Fun fact number 5. The band's choreography was taught by a former Motown dancer. Their smooth moves, they weren't just winging it. The band worked with choreographer George Faison, who helped them bring synchronized flair to the live shows. Think horns, funk, and high kicks. They were basically a soul-powered boy band before boy bands were a thing. Fun fact number 6. They loved Afrofuturism before it was cool. Their stage outfits and album covers weren't just flashy, they were deeply inspired by Egyptian mythology, outer space, and African spiritual traditions. They brought Afrofuturism to the mainstream long before Black Panther made it cool. Fun fact number 7, my favorite fact that I found, September hits the charts every single year. Every year. Like clockwork. As soon as September rolls around, the song starts climbing the charts again. It's like the Mariah Carey of autumn. If Pumpkins had a theme song, it'd be this one. Earth, Wind, and Fire isn't just a band you listen to, they're a band you experience. And these little fun facts? Just more proof that their story is as extraordinary as their sound. So there you have it. Kalimbas and funk, disco in outer space, and fashion so bold it could only belong to Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, how many bands can say they've inspired NASA, wedding DJs, generations of musicians, and your aunt who refuses to sit down when Let's Groove comes on? Honestly, if these fun facts don't make you love them more, I don't know what will. They're basically the Swiss Army knife of music. Stylish, spiritual, funky, futuristic, and full of heart. Now, let's bring this groove train into the station with one last stop. So here's the big question. Why do we still dance to Earth, Wind, and Fire? Why does their music still fill the dance floors, the car rides, the karaoke nights, and the spontaneous solo kitchen concerts? It's simple. Because it makes us feel good. Like, really good. The kind of good where your mood lifts, your shoulders shimmy, and your bad day gets kicked out the door by a horn section and a falsetto. Earth, Wind, and Fire didn't make music for just one generation. They made music for everyone. For the dreamers, the dancers, the lovers, the heartbroken, and the hopeful. Their songs aren't just catchy, they're healing. They make your feet move and your soul smile. And maybe that's why their music still hits today. Because in a world that can feel loud, chaotic, and heavy, Earth, Wind, and Fire reminds us that it's okay to let go, to dance, to laugh, to love out loud, to remember the joy even on the 21st night of September, or any night at all. They gave us more than music. They give us a feeling, and that feeling, it's timeless. So whether you're grooving to September, crying to Reasons, or strutting your stuff to Let's Groove, just know you're part of the magic. You are part of the legacy. Thank you, everyone, for taking this intergalactic funk ride with me through the universe of Earth, Wind, and Fire. From kalimbas to cosmic fashion, we've moonwalked through the musical magic that still makes us move. Before we boogie off into the night, guess what? Next week, we're switching gears and cranking up the cuteness because I've got some big news. I am about to be a great aunt. Yep, my niece is having her very first baby, and I am so excited. So, naturally, next week's episode will be all about the sweetest, snuggliest, most heartwarming songs for babies, whether you're rocking them to sleep or dancing around the nursery with a rattle in hand. It's going to be soft, soulful, and full of lullabies, love, and just a touch of baby giggle energy. So until then, remember this. The music in you, it's never too loud, never too late, and always ready to groove. Even if you're grooving in footy pajamas with a pacifier backup dancer. Keep that soul shining, the bass line bumping, and I'll see you next week for a whole lot of baby love. Peace out, everybody. This has been the Music in Me podcast. Subscribe now so you don't miss a beat.